It's as simple as that. Oh damn!
Got him!
Hey, that's pretty good.
Not up in here! Fucking normies! This is not okay. Fuck!
Hey!
Steve Blake. This is not okay.
Hey guys, it's your great mate to mate here, your favourite 22-year-old red-headed TF2-ber. Oh, come on now. Well anyway, today we will be discussing the Flamethrower's air-based propulsion and reflection system, the Airblast. So let's just jump into it. So what is airblasting and why have I never heard of it before, I hear you ask? Well, my little W+M1 free-to-play, if you observe your mouse, you will notice it actually features a secondary button known as right mouse button. It even has a third button, but I'll try not to make it too confusing. Now, the Airblast may appear like a seemingly simple system for simpletons, but in actuality the Airblast is the Swiss Army knife of, well, the Flamethrower, I suppose. As I mentioned in the last episode, the Flamethrower can protect, attack, and Scooby Snack. But when I say Scooby Snack, I actually mean it has supportive capabilities. Look, I see Scooby-Doo as a supportive figure in my life, alright? But first, let's get into its offensive and defensive capabilities, as they somewhat have a tie-in with each other. Alright, so let me lay this down for you. When you press that unusually sweaty right mouse button, on the cost of 20 ammo, you will let out a fresh gust of air from your Flamethrower's front hole. But although it may seem like a cool breeze, it's far from it, my friends. Well, maybe it is also. I mean, well, it's actually likely gas, actually. Look, I don't know, I can do it. You see, when timed correctly, the air can interact with a shit ton of fuck. The first of which we will be discussing is other players, specifically enemy players, where you can push them a certain distance. This can be incredibly useful when it comes to crowd control. Who needs a big hose when you can just blast the fuckers with air? Now this isn't exactly a lethal move, but when combined with an environmental hazard, well...
It's a secret.
But it's important to note how it works now and how it was changed from BJI. Back when you airblasted someone, they would essentially fly up in the air a little bit and be pushed back a set distance. Nowadays, however, things are a bit different. A fair few things have changed, but I'll try and keep it simple. Now, instead of a target flying up in the air on airblast, they actually just move opposite the direction you were shooting them from. Like actual physics or something. Except not really, because I doubt you could harness enough air in this little thing to be able to push a fully. Additionally, it also factors in the momentum of both you and your target to determine how far they will go. Say for example they were running towards you, they would be pushing back on the force and therefore wouldn't go that far, as opposed to air blasting while they run away, they would go fucking soaring. Also, let's see here, it's giving you a bit more air control instead of being flat stun. That's nice. And the total push force has increased. Good. And they fixed up the reflecting stuff a bit too. Alright, now let's get into the juicy stuff. For you see, the Airblast has another capability. The ability to reflect projectiles themselves. And an added bonus of converting the projectiles into being mini-crit. Unless it is already crit boosted, in which case it just reflects it like it is. Now that might not sound that interesting on paper, and I'm sure you're probably going, well duh, I know you can reflect rockets and shit. Why don't you just get on with it, you malformed albino Sonic OC looking thing? Now look here now, I didn't just say rockets, did I? I said projectiles. But what is a projectile? And what exactly can be reflected? Well, rockets, energy blasts, grenades, cannonballs, sticky bombs, baseballs, ornaments, cleavers, milk, Girardi, arrows, fireballs, gas, flares, sentry rockets, healing bolts, and healing arrows.
Hey, they're healed! They're healed! Oh.
You know what, actually, it's easy to say what you can't reflect. Like flames, bisons, pumpsons, needles, and good old bullets. So yeah, you can airblast a lot of shit. However, the question then emerges, just because you can airblast, should you? Well, the reality is that when it comes to airblasting, only a few of those really matter. Obviously, you should try for rockets primarily, as they are the easiest to airblast. Grenades are a close second, and getting stickies off objectives and teammates is always helpful. But as for the rest of them, they range from risky to pointless. I personally do enjoy reflecting arrows myself because I like to think I'm half decent at it. But in that situation, one wrong move, and I'm dead. Not always the best idea. And when it comes to things like the rescue ranger bolts, well, I wouldn't bother. I mean, the engineer already has it hard enough as he's just trying to hit you with the damn thing. Yeah, you can let him go. For now. But don't just hog it all for yourself now. Just because you can save your own life with it does not mean you should exclusively save your life with it. This is where the defensive side of it comes in, as it's an incredibly useful tool to assist your teammates by protecting them from oncoming projectiles. Try and look for someone or something under siege, such as a sentry gun, and act as a human reflecting shield. You could save that sentry and make that engineer's day, and perhaps his thanks might soften the blow when you are inevitably accused of being a skillless W+M1 pyro by one of your own teammates. Hey guys, it's editing Ihasnotomato here, just quickly inserting in this information that while I was making this video, the Blue Moon update dropped and changed the way the short circuit works so it actually fires a projectile as well, that apparently you can airblast. Now, I don't know exactly how useful it is to reflect it, but it seems like a pretty slow projectile that it might be worth reflecting. I don't really know, I'll have to play with it more to figure that out, but yeah, just thought I should mention that. Okay, back to the video. Alright, so this is such a massive point for me, it needs its own thing, alright? You see, what with so many people opting for the good old W+M1 baloney, many of those people were, and still are to an extent, still blissfully unaware that the airblast even exists. Possibly telling themselves that reflecting rockets is too hard and I'm still a virgin. So Valve decided to make one of its lesser known yet arguably most useful features seem a bit more appetizing. Now I am praying this isn't news to you, but the pyro can instantly extinguish fire with airblast. Yes, you heard that right, it can instantly extinguish fire. What that means is you can, by one mere click of a button, have your teammates cease being on fire, okay? Like, in less than a second. Like, holy shit. Let me give you a list of other things that insta-extinguish. Water, Girardi, the gas passer, Mad Milk. That's it! And none of those are anywhere near as common and easy to come across as a pyro with a functioning flamethrower. Oh, sorry, Flog, I didn't mean to... Well, actually, no, I did mean it. Fuck you, Flog. Fuck you! Fuck you. And look, to top it all off, Valve added a fucking reward of 20 health regained when extinguishing a teammate just to get you fucks to use this bloody feature. Seriously, if you can't reflect or aren't confident in that, at least extinguish your teammates. It's so fucking easy. And it even gives you points to do. It's like a miracle product that not enough people use. I can't stress enough about how goddamn annoying it is to have a pyro who is blissfully unaware of their ability to extinguish people and get confused when they get yelled at by a medic whose cinders now only echo in the wind. Whew! Well, now that we've gotten that out of the way and I've vented my deep hatred, let's talk about some cool stuff, starting with some epic facts. First off, we have a few concepts of the Flamethrower, which are reminiscent of the original TF's Flameboy. Here we have a little promotional poster for the Flamethrower. You can pause to read this if you like. And a few little fun facts. Did you know that originally the Flamethrower was going to connect to the pyro's backpack similarly to the medic's minigun? But it was later redirected back into the propane tank, and now the canister on the back connects to nothing, and looks a little weird when you think about it like that. And speaking of the propane tank, that's exactly what it is. I believe I remember reading somewhere that the Flamethrower was actually homemade by the pyro. As you can see, some elements of pre-existing items in it, such as a petrol handle, and this attachment, which I never quite got what it was supposed to do, because that's the bottom of the tank. The top is here with a tube in it. And with that, it is now time for my final ranking of the Flamethrower, where it is my third favourite slot. Yeah, this list may be a little predictable for a few items here, but I imagine it might get a little bit more interesting and controversial later on. And hey, why not tell me where it ranks on your personal list in the comments? Anyway, that's about it for the Flamethrower, except for one thing. For next time, I'll be doing a somewhat of a part 2.5 episode where I'll be covering the Rain Blower. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I would like to give a special shout out to this month's Patreon, Big Gold Boy! And hey, if you are at all interested, please check out my Patreon, as it would help me out a shit ton and will allow me to keep making vids for you guys. Anyway, I have been Ihasnotomato, and remember to kiss your father on the lips. Bye.